Hey everybody, it's Teresa. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to make a necklace and a pair of earrings today, and I'm going to use some of the beads and findings that came in the most recent bargain bead box, the one for March 2024. It's called the Seafoam Sunrise Collection. This is just a really beautiful box. Of course, their boxes are always beautiful. I'll put a link in the corner of this video and in the description box below to the unboxing video I did for this subscription in case you want to watch it, where I go over everything that came in the box. I have a coupon code. It's Teresa2, and I'll put it on the screen here and in the description box below, along with a link to the page to sign up for the subscription if you're interested. The coupon will save you $2 off your first box if you sign up. Don't be fooled by all the little dishes you see out here. This is going to be a really simple necklace and pair of earrings, because simple is about all I can manage right now. I had told you all a few videos ago that I have yet another infected tooth, and I expected to be rid of it by now. I had been to the dentist and got antibiotics and been to the doctor, got a shot, and had an appointment to have it pulled and all. But apparently this tooth just really loves me and does not want to leave me, because the infection is apparently particularly resistant to antibiotics, because it's not better, it's actually worse. And I have never been in so much pain in my life. It's just been really rough. But this is Wednesday the 13th, and I have an appointment Monday the 18th to have it pulled. So hopefully I'll get it pulled Monday and be rid of it and be much better than I am now. But in here I've got the 8mm Amazonite beads that came in the box. And here I have the 8mm matte flower Amazonite beads that came in the box. And here I have the 3mm faceted Amazonite beads that came in the box. I have some of the 6x8mm rondelles that came in the box, that they were called Peaches and Cream Mix. I have the pendant that came in the box, a tiny little piece of chain I'm going to hang the pendant off, and the bail that came in the box. I've got some of the spacers that came in the box, some of the bead caps that came in the box. I'm going to be using these 11-0. They're kind of a smoky topaz color Miyuki seed bead to space out the beads. I've got some findings in there. I've got lobster clasp from my stash, some 4mm jump rings, one 8mm jump ring, two pieces of the chain that came in the box. I have a smaller piece of chain that from my stash that's got a little bit bigger links in it that I'm going to use as an extender chain. I've got 4 wire guardians, 4 2x2 crimp tubes. I've got a little copper leaf that I had in my stash that I'm going to hang off the extender chain. I think that's everything that's in there. This is what I'm going to use for my earrings. I've got 2 of the matte flower Amazonite beads, 2 of the Amazonite 8mm beads, 2 of the rondelles, some of the bead caps, a few 11-0s. I've got 2 of the eye pins that came in the box, and I've got 2 head pins from my stash. I've got my bead stopper. I'm going to be using my Soft Flex beading wire and fine. This is 21 strand, and it's the copper color. I'm going to be using my chain nose pliers, my tweezer pliers, my round nose pliers, both pairs of my bent chain nose pliers, both pairs of my crimping pliers, both pairs of my cutters, and I'm going to be using my flat nose pliers a little bit because I'm going to open the end of my extender chain and put my little leaf on it, because the links open easy, but I can open them better with my flat nose pliers. That sounds like an awful lot for such a simple necklace and pair of earrings, but it is really going to be very simple. So I went and had my little New Orleans shot glass to put my wires in when I cut them off. He'd have been mad if I'd left him out and didn't introduce him. I think that's everything. I'll put links to everything I can find links for in the description box below. Everything I'm using that didn't come in the box. So hold on, let me get some of this out of the way, and I'll be back, and I'll get started. Okay, I'm going to string up one side of my necklace now, and first I'm going to put my little bail on my pendant. I'm just going to open it up and slide my little bail in there, my little pendant in there, and put the prongs in the hole and pinch the bail closed. Pinch bails make life so much easier. So that's going to be my pendant. And now I'm going to string up one side of my necklace here. So I'm going to put on one of my 8mm beads. And I've just got my wire attached to my spool still. I usually do that if I know what my design's going to be. I kind of feel like I save some wire by doing that. So I'm going to do another 8mm bead and a seed bead. So I've got an 8mm bead, a seed bead, an 8mm bead, a seed bead. And now I'm going to do one of these spacer beads. And a seed bead. And then I'm going to do, I don't know if you can tell or not, but these two rondelles are a little bit darker brown than these four. So I'm going to do the two lighter brown ones with this seed bead between. And then another seed bead. And then one of these tiny little 3mm beads. Takes a minute to find the holes in these. They're very tiny. And then another seed bead. And then a bead cap. And then one of these matte Amazonite beads. And another bead cap. And then a 11-0. A tiny little 3mm bead. And another 11-0. And then one of these darker brown rondelles, and an 11-0, and a spacer bead, and an 11-0, and then an 8mm bead, and an 11-0, 8mm bead, an 11-0, 8mm bead, and an 11-0, and then a spacer bead, and an 11-0, another darker brown rondelle bead, and an 11-0, one of these tiny little 3mm beads, and an 11-0, and a bead cap, and one of these matte beads, and a bead cap, and an 11-0, another tiny little 3mm bead, and an 11-0, and two more of these lighter brown rondelles, That's a big old bead with a big old hole, and I can't even get the wire in it. Now another 11-0, and then a spacer bead, and an 11-0, and an 8mm bead, and an 11-0, and an 8mm bead. So that's going to be one side of my necklace. So hold on, I'll get my crimp tubes and wire guardians, and I'll come back and we'll crimp it. So I'll be back. Okay, I've got my crimp tube. It's in my wire guardians here now, and I'm going to crimp this. So, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit here. I'm going to put my my crimp tube on, and then my wire guardian. And I'm going to go down the other channel of my wire guardian. Back through my crimp tube. I'm going to tuck in my wire guardian. Pull my wire through. Make sure to keep my wire from being crossed, because when we crimp we want both wires to land in their own little individual channels, and they won't do that if they're crossed. Now I'm going to go on this part that has the tooth, and I'm going to lay the tooth on top of my crimp tube. Squeeze. And that puts each wire in its own little channel there. Now I'm going to go into there's 3 half circles on each side of the pliers. I'm going to go in the middle one because that's the one for the 2x2 crimp tubes. And I'm going to lay my crimp in there. Squeeze. Give it a good tight squeeze. I'm going to tug. That's good. So now I'm going to cut off my extra wire. And now I'm going to push it down and cut it off my spool. And now I'm going to take my crimp tube, put it on here, and take my other wire guardian, tuck in my little wire guardian, go down the other channel of the wire guardian, back through the crimp tube. And if I can, I like to go through a bead on this side to get my hands out of the way while I'm trying to crimp, and it centers the wire guardian over that last bead. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to hold on to my wire guardian and pull my wire through. Make sure my wires are not crossed. I want to make sure there's no slack in my piece, but I don't want it to be too tight, because if it's too tight it won't drape well. So I usually just keep it coiled up like that, and that keeps it from being too tight. So now I'm just going to go and use the crimping pliers, go in that part that has the tooth, and lay the tooth on top of my crimp tube. Squeeze. And then turn it and go in the part with the half circles. Give it a good tight squeeze. I'm going to tug. That's good. So now I'm going to cut off my extra wire. So that's what's going to be one side of my necklace. So now I'm going to do the other side off camera. When I come back, we'll put it all together. So I'll be back. Okay, I've got both sides of my necklace done here now. So now I'm just going to put it together. So I'm going to take this little tiny piece of chain here. I think it's a little over 1/2 inch. It's 5 of the links of the chain that came in the box. And I've got a 4mm jump ring here. And I'm going to open up my jump ring. Thread on one side of my chain. It's wanting to be magnetized and stick to my pliers and everything else here. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to put on one side of my necklace. Close my jump ring back. Now before I attach this other side, I'm going to slide my pendant on here. I hope that chain will go through there. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, it'll go through there. It's plenty big enough. There we go. Well, if I can get it in there and keep it from falling out. There we go now. Now I'm going to take my other 4mm jump ring. Open it up. Put my chain on there. Attach it to the other side of my necklace. Close my jump ring back really well. So that's that. So now I'm going to go down here and take another 4mm jump ring. And I've got, I think I'm still zoomed in. I've got a couple of the pieces of the chain that came in the box. These are about 2.5 inches each. Each of these came to about 7.5 inches. Each of my strands did. So I'm going to take another 4mm jump ring. Open it up. Thread on my chain. Thread on this side of my necklace. Close my chain back really well. I'm going to take another 4mm jump ring. Open it up. Put on another piece of chain. Put on the other side of my necklace. Okay, now I'm going to take another 4mm jump ring. Open it up. Put it on here and put my lobster clasp on. Close my jump ring back. And now I have an 8mm jump ring that I'm going to use for my lobster to clasp onto. I'm going to open it up. Put this side of my chain on. And I have a little piece of extender chain here. It's probably about 1.5 inches or so. I'm going to close it up. And now I'm going to take this end of my extender chain and I'm going to open it. Thread on my little leaf. I have to open it more than that. Opened it too much that time, didn't I? See if I can get this back on here now. All right now. My little leaf on there. There we go. I'll close it back up really well. If I can stop dropping it. I need some flat nose pliers that have a more narrow nose than these. Well, dropped it again, but I'm pretty sure I got it closed that time. Double check it, but I know at least I got it closed well enough that the leaf didn't come off that time. Yeah, there we go. So, there's my necklace all done. Really simple and easy. So now I'm going to make a little pair of earrings. Hold on, I'll be back. Okay, I'm going to make a little earring now. I think I forgot to say when I went over my materials that these leverback ear wires I'm using came in the box too. I used very little from my stash for this project. Almost everything came in the box. I've got a really long head pin here. I don't know if I will be able to find where I've had these forever. I'm not sure if I'll be able to. I always try to put links to everything I'm using in the description box below, and I'll try to figure out where I got it, but I'm not sure I'll be able to because I've had it so long. I think it's about a 3-inch head pin. And I'm going to put my bead cap on here, and one of these matte beads, and another bead cap. And I'm going to take my pliers. I'm going to go to the very tip of the pliers because I don't want a very long neck. I'm going to bend the wire over at a 90-degree angle. I'm going to take my round nose pliers and put them in the crook of the bend. Round nose pliers facing me. Bend the wire back until it hits the bead. Rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. Take this part under until it hits the bottom of the tool. Kink the wire back until the loop is centered over the bead. Like that, and that usually stands this little piece of wire almost straight up. Now I'm going to take my bent chain nose pliers and hold on to my loop. Bring my wire down some. I'm going to take my other pair of bent chain nose pliers and start to wrap. I want to make sure to get that first wrap in under the bottom of the loop and not over the top of the bottom of the loop. I'm just going to wrap till there's no more room to wrap. I'm going to take my cutters, and I use a different pair of cutters for head pins and eye pins and craft wire than I do bead stringing wire, and I just almost picked up the wrong ones. I have a piece of masking tape on the ones that I use for head pins and eye pins so that I know which one is which. And I'm going to take these crimping pliers, and I use the little half circles on each side to tuck in the burrs when I cut off wire. Now I'm going to take my eye pin, and this is one of the eye pins that came in the box. I'm going to open the eye. Thread on my little dangle I just made and close my eye back. Now I'm going to put on my rondelle bead, one of my 11-ohs, and my 8mm Amazonite bead. Now I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to go a little bit above the bead because I don't want to crack my bead. And I'm going to bend the wire over at a 90-degree angle. Now I'm going to cut off and leave about 1/4 of an inch of the pin. I'm going to take my round nose pliers and I'm going to go to the end of the wire here and make sure there's nothing sticking out here. And I go down here about halfway down the barrel to get my loop started. And then I go down a little bit because I don't want such a huge loop, but it's easier to get it started. For me, it's easier to get it started farther down on the barrel like that. Now I'm going to keep rolling my loop. Usually my loops are not facing the same way when I'm done, but they look like they actually are this time. So now I'm just going to open this loop that I just made and thread it onto my ear wire and close my loop back. So there's my little earring. So hold on, I'll get all this laid out and everything put away and I'll be back. Okay, there's my really simple and easy necklace and pair of earrings made with some of the beads and findings that came in the most recent bargain bead box, the one for March 2024, called the Seafoam Sunrise Collection. It's just a really beautiful box. I have plans to do much more with this box. I just am not really up to it right now, but I have plans to do much more. If you enjoy making beaded jewelry, I really recommend this box. It's always beautiful. It's always so well curated. It's easy to put things together with it, and it's really great value. And if you're not a subscriber and you decide you want to be, that coupon code will save you $2 off your first box if you sign up. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. As always, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate those of you who have subscribed to my channel and watched my videos and liked and commented on my videos. I have a website where I sell my jewelry. I also sell gift cards and some extra beads and findings that I have. It's Teresa's Handmade Jewelry, and I'll put a link to it in the description box below in case you're interested, along with a link to my Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and my email. If you haven't, I'd really love it if you'd subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified when I upload a new video. So until next time, I hope y'all have a great day. Take care.